"Who is Ren?" She asked it quietly, almost to herself, standing in the middle of the hallway, with a chart pressed against her chest. Around her, the pediatric ward hummed its usual sounds, soft beeping, distant voices, the particular hush that hospitals keep at night. But she had stopped walking, because in the past 20 minutes, she had seen the name 3 times. Ren, written in crayon on the corner of a whiteboard in room 7. Ren, scratched carefully into the soft wood of a windowsill in the family waiting area. Ren, pressed in blue marker on the underside of a chair she had moved while cleaning. Her name was Sable Ardeen, 28 years old, night shift nurse in the pediatric wing of Callaway Children's Medical Center. She had worked this floor for 4 years and knew every corner of it, every squeaky wheel on every cart, every light that flickered, every family that had sat in that waiting room and prayed in the particular silence of people with nothing left to do but hope. She had never noticed the name before, but now that she had seen it once, she saw it everywhere, in a stairwell, on the leg of a donated rocking chair, inside a window frame, very small, as though written by someone who wanted to remember without being seen. Ren. Always the same handwriting, careful, rounded, deliberate. A child's hand, practiced and patient. Sable began asking quietly during her rounds. The older nurses didn't know. The cleaning staff shrugged. The day shift supervisor looked at her with mild curiosity and said, "Maybe it's old. This building's been here 30 years. But the crayon in room 7 was fresh. She could tell. The CEO of Callaway Medical was a man named Reed Callaway, 33 years old, which struck most people as too young for what he carried. The hospital had been his grandfather's, then his father's, and had passed to him 2 years ago when his father's health declined. He ran it with a quietness that surprised people who expected corporate briskness. He was often in the building after hours, walking the floors in the way his grandfather had apparently done, not inspecting, but present. Sable had spoken to him perhaps 4 times. He was not cold, but he was contained, the way people are when they have learned to keep their interior life carefully managed. She found him on a Wednesday evening in the administrative corridor, reviewing something on a clipboard. She almost didn't ask. Then she did. "Mr. Callaway, do you know who Ren is? There's a name written in several places throughout the pediatric wing. Same handwriting. I've counted 9 so far." He went very still. Not startled, more like a man who has been expecting a question for a long time and had still not fully prepared for it. "Where?" he asked. His voice was even, but something behind his eyes had shifted. She showed him methodically every location she had found. He followed without speaking, hands in his pockets, examining each small inscription with an expression she couldn't fully read. When they reached the last one, the tiny letters pressed inside the window frame of room 12, he stood there for a long moment, not moving. "She was a patient here," he said finally. 8 years ago, she was 6 years old." Sable waited. "Her name was Ren Callaway," he said. "She was my sister." The story came out slowly, across several evenings, the way things do when they are heavy and have been carried privately for a long time. Ren had been ill for most of her short life, a rare cardiac condition, managed carefully, with long stretches of hospitalizations between the periods when she was home and seemingly fine. She had spent more of her childhood in this building than anywhere else, and she had been, by every account, a child of extraordinary inner life, quiet, observant, deeply attached to the idea that places had feelings and deserved to be remembered. She had written her name in corners and undersides and hidden places throughout the ward, because she had told her brother once, she wanted the building to know she had been there. "Places get lonely too," she had said, with complete seriousness. "If I write my name, it remembers me, even when I'm gone." She had passed away at age 7. Reed was 15. He had been in school the morning it happened, called home mid-morning, and had arrived too late. He had become what he became, Not for prestige, not for money, but because it was the only way he knew to stay close to something he couldn't keep. When Sable understood this, she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "She was right, you know. The building did remember." He looked at her. "I found her," Sable said simply. "After 8 years. She left enough." What happened next was neither dramatic nor fast, but it was real. Sable began documenting every inscription she found, photographing them, recording the locations, the size of the letters, the color of the ink or crayon or marker. She did this on her own time, between shifts, with the careful attention of someone who understands that small things, properly tended, become something larger. She brought the record to Reed one evening in a plain folder. 19 locations total. Each one photographed. Each one mapped on a floor plan she had sketched herself. He opened the folder at his desk and did not speak for several minutes. When he looked up, his eyes were full. Not spilling over, but full. "Why did you do this?" he asked. "Because she deserved to be found," Sable said. "And because you've been in this building every night for 2 years, and I don't think it's only about the hospital." Outside the window, the city made its quiet nighttime sounds. "She would have liked you," he said finally. "She liked people who paid attention to things other people walked past." "Then she had good judgment," Sable said softly. He almost smiled. It was the beginning of something. Not romantic, not rushed, but the slow, careful kind of human connection that grows between people who have both learned to carry grief quietly and are only now, tentatively, setting some of it down. 3 months later, a small glass case appeared in the family waiting area of the pediatric wing. Inside it, on a simple card, was a photograph of a 7-year-old girl with serious eyes and a gap-toothed smile. Beside the photograph, a single line. "Wren Calloway was here. She wanted you to know." Around the case, on the wall, Sable had arranged reproductions of every inscription, 19 small photographs, each one a piece of a child who had loved a place so much she left herself in it. Families waiting in that room began to stop and look. Some of them, without knowing why, found it easier to breathe afterward. Kindness, this story knows, is sometimes as simple as paying attention to what others have walked past. Wren wrote her name, so she would not be forgotten. Sable found it, so she wouldn't be. And Reed built his whole quiet life around a place where love, once given, does not entirely leave. Notice the small things. They are never only small. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.